Brandon versus Sonic Mania. Sorry about that. Anyway, hey, what's up guys? Brandon here from BigMcLargerHuge, and today we are going to be checking out Sonic Mania again, because when I first did this, I was a nostalgia-blinded, crazy hype man, and I'm not now. And I'm much better at the game, so let's begin. Alright, so Sonic Mania is Sonic 4. Not Sonic 4 as in the Sonic 4 that came out in 2010 and sucked, but as the Sonic 4 that happens after Sonic 3. This game actually is an improvement over Sonic 3. This game, I'm gonna make this my main statement for the video. They did such a good job with the physics in this game. They were better than the classics. They reinvented the classics physics so good that they did it better. So, what you're going to be seeing in the background is the start of a Sonic playthrough. With bonus stage and special stage gameplay. Alright, so let's begin with Green Hill Zone. To start off, this is Green Hill Zone, obviously. We've all played it, we all love it, we all hate it, it's just kind of now here. I mean, Sega ingrains it in our head every time they try to do a nostalgia-focused game, but my god, this Green Hill is the best Green Hill out of them all. This Green Hill has everything from the original. It has the speed, the platforming, even a small bit of puzzles, diverging pathways, all the stuff that made the original Green Hill amazing. Plus, there is new stuff, such as the zip lines in Act 2, which is actually from Splash Hill Act 2, courtesy of Sonic 4 for that, thank you, Sonic 4, wow, I never thought I'd be saying that, but, Sonic 4 actually did give us something good, but they did it better in this game, but a trend you're gonna see with Act 1 and Act 2 of the 8 returning stages is that Act 1 is very faithful to the original in some way, either Act 1 or Act 2. In Hydrosity's case, it is Act 1 that is more faithful to Act 2, and Act 2 that is more faithful to Act 1. And it's just a little more confusing. I didn't actually realize it until I started playing Sonic 3 again. Great game, by the way. If you have all not checked it out yet, you definitely should. So, let's see. Where should I begin with, level design? Actually, let's not begin on that, because it's just so much to talk about through there. What we should talk about is, we should talk about how good the physics are. Because I said this at the beginning of the video, but I don't think I stressed it enough. These physics are the best. These literally cannot be beaten by any Sonic game unless they're better and made by Christian Whitehead and Headcanon. I mean, and having this as its own original game too, it's just like, holy crap, this is the best. And with Sonic Mania Plus coming out in a few months, that's gonna be great. But the main problem I have with the physics are, really, sometimes, Sonic takes a few too many steps when he lands, like right there. Not the victory pose, but right before that I tried to show it. And it just kind of while most platforms won't have this problem because they're big enough that it won't happen, a larger majority of the ones in some of the later stages, I'm looking at you, Oil Ocean, at least for me, kind of take away from the experience by doing just that. So now we're on to our next point, which is actually a negative. We're going to be kind of switching between positive and negatives a lot. So for this negative, I am going to be talking about stage transitions. They are weird. Some of them just kind of, like, if you all are Sonic fans, then you know about the leaked stage transitions that Sega accidentally put out an update with them in. Somehow they accidentally put in an update with them out, and I don't think they said anything on it, but the main thing was that all the random stages that didn't have stage transitions, I may be able to list them all. Let me think. Sonic... Let's see, crap, can't go through there. Flying Battery to Press Garden, Stardust Speedway to Hydrocity, Hydrocity to Mirage Saloon, Oil Ocean to Lava Reef, Lava Reef to Metallic Madness, and Metallic Madness to Titanic Monarch. Those are the stages that did not previously have a stage transition that, coming with this recent update to British PlayStation, they now do. So some of my statement is kind of invalid now, but it is also still valid because, I mean, this kind of just shows that the game, while how amazing it is, was still, fell under the Sega curse of being rushed to the extreme. Not to the extreme of the other games, but, I mean, I can't remember the last Sonic game that wasn't rushed. I mean, Sonic Lost World probably wasn't. Sonic Forces definitely wasn't. Because Sonic Forces had 4 years of freaking development. But, anyway, you get my point. So, now let's move on to another positive, which is the bosses. Normally, I utterly hate, despise with all my heart, all Sonic bosses. Except maybe some of the ones in modern Sonic games, because they're a little bit easier. But for the classics, holy crap, they're just so hard. Most of them are just so hard, I can't do them. The only one I thought was a joke was the Act 1 of Angel Island Zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but that's just a topic for another day, the boss fights in that game. But in this game, the boss fights are so creative, they're so amazing. I look forward to every single one of them, and they never cease to amaze me how well Christian Whitehead, Headcanon, and Pagoda West Games were able to make these bosses. Like, you've seen 2 boss fights. The first one was one type, which is kind of like the brute force one. You can get hit, collect a ring, and during your invincibility frames, hit it while it is invulnerable. And Act 1 of Chemical Plant has the same thing. But ones like the Death Egg, while you can still do that, it is unwise to do that as it is a running boss fight, and sometimes your rings will disappear off the edge of the stage. And some other ones are just not even like Sonic boss fights. Like as I said in my last review of Sonic Mania, Act 2 of Chemical Plant is freaking Mean Bean Machine. It's Mean Bean Machine. Like, that's not even a Sonic level, or a Sonic boss fight. That's Puyo Puyo. So, it's just there's so much variety. There's running boss fights, there's the brute force boss fights, like I was saying. There's timed boss fights, as I like to call. Oh crap, didn't realize that was happening. Sorry. But then there's timed boss fights, like the one in Flying Battery Act 2, where you are kind of forced to, you, like, need to kill him before you, get to the top, or, I mean, I've never, failed like that, so I don't know what happens, but I assume you die in some way, or you just, because there's no spikes up at the top there, or I could be wrong and it just keeps going on forever. But I highly disagree with that theory. I better look up some gameplay of that to make a better statement on that. And then there are the strategy fights, where it's a Sonic boss fight, but it's like a brute force boss fight, but with strategy in it. A prime example of this is the boss fights in Metallic Madness Zone Act 2 and Press Garden Zone Act 2, both of which have strategy in place of brute force. Now, both of these boss fights are exceptionally harder than the other ones, and rightly so. They are Act 2, and one of them is a hard-boiled heavy, which is still, like, they're like the hardest boss fights in the game, so, you know, not much surprise there. Now, on to the next positive, the level selection. Oh boy, the level selection. This game's level selection is so good. You start off with, teaser intro of, Angel Island, projected to be coming in Sonic Mania Plus, by the way, and then you go to Green Hill, you know, the first level, and as I already talked about, it is so good. Chemical Plant, the second level of Sonic 2, you know how you go the first level of Sonic 1, the second level of Sonic 2, it's kind of like that, and it's also, like, now you're seeing Act 2 of it. It is so different from Act 1 if you were paying attention to the gameplay here. So, what you thought was just going to be Chemical Plant again is actually like a reimagined, amazing, it's the only version of Chemical Plant where I can actually do the infamous pink water section. And that is where my statement of the physics are so good comes from, because after I did this in Sonic Mania, I tried to go back on the Sonic Classic Collection port of Sonic 2. I couldn't do it, so I went to an emulator and tried to do it there. I couldn't do it on either, so that's where my statement is coming from, because I couldn't do it on there, but I can do it here, and it's not like skill or anything, or maybe they fixed the water physics or something, but I don't know. It's just, you kind of have to, look at that. And then you have the first brand new zone, Studiopolis. Wow, this is an interesting zone. Lots of bumpers, springs that, like, have physics in them somehow. Some different, what's it called? Some different casino aspects in Act 2. Awesome, like, high-tech light speed travel, things like the tubes in Chemical Plant. It's, that's really cool. And then the boss fight in Act 2, oh my gosh. While you can just beat that by jumping up at him, when he's at his lowest point, I found that out. If you want to do it legit, you have to wait for it to get super hot, because it's a weather forecast that's very creative, and you have to wait for it to get super hot, and then you can hit him, but when it gets windy, you have to jump onto these things that are like the ones in Hydrocity, or you can plummet to your death into spikes on the ceiling. And then in Ring, you have to avoid thunder while you can do the brute force, trying to hit Eggman kind of thing, like I was saying before. And that's it for Studiopolis. So now, when we move on to Flying Battery. Flying Battery is great. It's everything the original tried to be. I have played through Flying Battery from Sonic and Knuckles. I just didn't like it. I hated it. And I still do hate that version. But Sonic Mania's version is like, wow. It fixes the weird, like frame by frame camera movement in the, when you're on the monkey bars in that level. It fixes, all the stuff in, it fixes all the stuff in, it fixes all of the, problems with, the tubes, where you can only enter from, like, one side, instead of and now you can enter from any side, so that is a very big plus. Sonic Mania plus. Haha, see what I did there? And that's really all I've got to say. I don't like the Act 2 boss fight, because you can't hit it twice in a row, like, it looks like you can, but you can't. So, that's kind of bad. I guess it's not too bad, but it is the only critique I have for that level. So then we move on to Press Garden, the second and one of the only two Nazis, original levels. It's okay. It's a so-so level. I can see the game doing without it and having another one, but Act 2's music is beautiful, along with Act 2's visual aesthetics. And if you remember from my earlier segment, it is one of the only levels without a, transitional cutscene, and you'll be able to see another transitional cutscene in a few seconds after we get through this. So that's it for Press Garden. Then we move on to Stardust Speedway, and this level has a really interesting take, as it adds elements of Marble Garden Zone into what's it called? Stardust Speedway, like the pulleys and things like that. This is why I don't like Marble Garden that much. I truthfully don't like it. I'm positively sure it's like one of my, it would, if I had finished, if I had finished, Sonic 3 yet, it would probably be my least favorite level. I just don't like the idea of the, all the pulleys and stuff. It slows the pace down, the punishing slopes and whatnot, but it gets rid of that and adds the better parts into Stardust Speedway while making the pulleys a lot faster. And so that's what that is. And then Act 2 is the future, or in Sonic CD, the present, because apparently Sonic CD happens in the past, before Sonic CD, according to my Sonic timeline, which I should do a video on soon. But anyway, in my Sonic timeline, Sonic CD happens after Mania, and that explains why you go to the past, you go to the future to get to what was the present in a previously thought game before this. It just might be an inconsistency or something, but I don't know. I made a logical explanation for it. But anyway, back on topic. Act 2 is great. It's Stardust Speedway. That's the only way I can put it. It's Stardust Speedway. If you love Stardust Speedway in Sonic CD, you're gonna love this level. It has a little less, crazy fast, weird sections than Act 1 did. I mean, then, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. But really, you just need to get to the boss fight, and if you didn't like it before, you're gonna change your mind, because it's Metal Sonic. The boss fight is Metal Sonic. When was the last time we got a Metal Sonic boss fight? I mean, we got a Metal Sonic boss fight in Sonic Forces, but that thing was crap, because it was so freaking easy. But, really, you get a, but the last, stage of this boss fight is actually really easy, but the second stage is Silver Sonic. That's the second stage of this boss fight, and it has been shown that in the glitched patch that somehow Sega let out, I don't know how, but they did, that they actually get Phantom Ruby Enhanced Metal Sonic in Stardust Speedway Act 2 boss fight for the final round. For the final phase. It's looking pretty dang nice. I will be honest, but honestly that last stage of the boss fight is a negative. While I did fail on that boss fight a few times, it wasn't nearly as bad as some of the other boss fights I failed on. So after that we have Hydrocity Zone. Wow. Hydrocity is the only water level in the game, and it takes the job pretty seriously. This is a really, really serious water level with it has what you need in, it has the water sections, it has the pathways that if you had, if you were skilled, you could get around all the water sections except for the beginning, and it has pulleys that raise and lower the water level, plus boats, so that's a plus, so, yeah, I'm sorry. And then in Mirage Saloon, which is the next act, Sky Chase Act 1, Sky Chase Zone is the, first act, and Act 2 is the, you know, just regular level. It's actually a really cool desert level. There's so many nods and references in that final, boss fight of Mirage Saloon. You know, the, heavy magician turning into, Beanbark and Fang. And, yeah. It's very, it's a nice zone. So after that we go to Oil Ocean, which I'm kind of stuck on, so I had to use debug mode to look at the other, zones for this review. But most of the level is okay. It still has some of those, 1 pixel deaths like in the original. I never experienced it, but I'm going off of what other people are saying about it, so yeah, just take it with a grain of salt if you don't really, think that's a really big factor that would water down your enjoyment of the level. So, you know, just keep that in mind. The Act 1 boss fight is so easy, it's ridiculous. It's actually easier than the Act 1 boss fight of Green Hill. I know that is a crazy statement, but it is true. Like, I have so much trouble just, like, imagining that being, like, a Christian Whitehead being like, yeah, that's good for, Act 1 of Oil Ocean, you know. Mid-level zone, you have something that's easier than the first mini-boss in the game. I mean, it's literally just, like, avoid the wrench, stand on the middle platforms, and then hit him. I mean, he doesn't even have, he's not, like, even invulnerable like the chemical plant boss fight, so that's a minus, that's a bad boss fight. Not because it's hard, because it's easy. So then Act 2 is Sandopolis Act 2, but done way better. So, Sandopolis Act 2, it was the level in which Sonic had to hit lots of levers and switches to keep the lighting up, and in this version of the concept, Oil Ocean is on fire because it got set on fire, so all the oil was on fire, setting off so much pollution that Sonic will lose rings if the pollution gets too thick, hence the Sandopolis theme. It's a little harder since it's like ring loss instead of just kind of ghosts, but other than that, it's still a very good level. Now the boss fight, I have a huge problem with the boss fight in this zone because it's just kind of, I'm stuck on it. I can't figure out how people do it. Like, I feel like I'm getting killed unfairly by it whenever I hit it, but I'm just gonna have to work at that. My dad says the only way I'm gonna be able to get Sonic Mania Plus is if I get to Titanic Monarch, and he's the game expert in the family, so yeah. I'm gonna have to do that. So then next we have Lava Reef. It's okay. I don't like the second act boss fight. It's a weird thing. I had a lot of trouble getting through it. There's no transition to Metallic Madness. It's just kind of a zone, to be honest. You know, I like the little small cute Sonic. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's not the right zone. Sorry, since I said Metallic Madness, I thought I had already moved on to that. But nope. So we have just kind of, you know, Lava Reef. It's lava. It's a reef. You can actually go above the reef now, and you can see volcanoes, and it kind of gives you a little sense of where Lava Reef truly is on the Sonic world. Now, I kind of have a theory because there's so many radical different places that kind of Sonic 1 and 2, namely Sonic 2, because there's no stage transitions and you can't really know what happens between them, I theorize that Sonic 1 is the only game that happens off of Angel Island. It's just, they didn't really know they were on Angel Island. I know it sounds stupid, but it's just, how is Oil Ocean next to Mirage Saloon if Mirage Saloon, is over Hydrocity, but Marble Garden was over Hydrocity in Sonic 3, so it's just kind of really confusing. Yeah, I think about it a lot. But anyway, now we're on to Metallic Madness. It's the start of the Little Planet levels. Titanic Monarch is also on Little Planet. It's right outside of Metallic Madness, actually, which is interesting. At least to me it is. So, dang it. So we have some foreground background changes from Act 1 to in Act 1, and in Act 2 we have we just kind of have Cheeky Sonic, little Chico Sonic, I think it's called. I don't know what people call it. I just kind of call it. Crap! I thought that would save me, but it didn't. So I like this level. The boss fight is pretty easy. I like it. It's a nice transition. You get to fight miniature, like, toy versions of easy boss fights, or just kind of Eggman in his Eggmobile. But, you know, then you go into Titanic Monarch. I haven't played much of it. It's hard. I can tell you that. There's lots of homing things. Like, so many things are, like, homing onto you. There's definitely some fast sections. And then Egg Reverie, the final boss of the game. I don't know. I didn't play it. It's just... to me, it looks like the robot that you fight at the end of Sonic 3 and Knuckles is what it looks like to me, as Hypersonic. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So, yeah, Sonic Mania. I just went through all the zones, but I haven't talked about Tails and Knuckles yet. It's their Sonic 3, loadout. But, you know, you shouldn't have any trouble, Knuckles has a nerfed jump compared to Sonic and Tails because he can glide and climb. So it's kind of a fair trade, actually. You know. So just be wary of that. The chemical plant section with the pink water can give you some trouble, I'll tell you that. But other than that, that's all we got for Sonic Mania today. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. I mean, sorry, that's not my outro. I forgot. I know it's so weird how I just, you know, somebody just forgets their intro. But, yeah, so I guess that's about it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And this is Brandon from BigMcLargerHuge Gaming, signing out. Goodbye!